Hey everyone, Sumo Spiffy here. Kirishima is back, and that means we can spin up some breakdowns for him as originally planned. We got a really fun one here, checking out Kiri against Tobizaru. Despite Kiri's ozeki status and Toby's tendency to bounce around the middle to lower end of the joy, Toby leads the series 9-7, and Kiri hasn't dominated recently either. They're 4-4 in the matches we'll watch today, so let's see what we got. Toby fakes the right hand high on the tachi, and whether Kiri fell for it or was already planning to swing his arm in, he's in no position to stop Toby from getting on the belt. This is a fairly common Tobizaru strategy. He's got a good grip and a low center of gravity, so if he's on the belt, he hangs on and looks for ways to win around stopping his opponent from managing any sort of offense. Kiri's got the overhooks, and while we can't see it from here, Toby only has the right hand grip. His left arm is wrapped tight around Kiri's side, but it seems like Kiri should be able to do something. Kiri puts the work in, trying to get Toby moving, but Toby's too steady and low. Toby drives up, making the overhooks a little harder to keep locked in, and gradually works his way in. Once he does the sumo hop and gets Kiri straightened up, he has the advantage. Kiri switches stances and leans down, pulling up on Toby's right arm to stretch and loosen the grip, but as long as Toby can maintain this relative position, there isn't much Kiri can do. Toby jumps his right leg in front of Kiri's left knee to threaten a throw, forcing Kiri to pull back. When Kiri hits the rope, Toby uses the open side to actually attempt a throw. Kiri defends, then wraps his leg around and pulls as best he can to attack and at least force Toby into a defensive adjustment. Toby slips around it, and since Kiri's weight is going backwards from the pull attack, Toby centers, goes with it, and walks him out. Tobizaru loves to get into these hand/slap fights, battling until he can sneak in and grab the belt. When he can't get the belt, the fight often goes poorly, but he's good at landing these grabs as he does here. Toby gets the grip in deep, all the way around Kiri's back, but Kiri uses it against him by getting knee to knee and using the leverage of Toby's hold for a throw. Toby does a fantastic job of leaning back and going absolutely nowhere, forcing Kiri to spin back towards him. Now Toby attempts the exact same throw with equally non-existent success. Kiri, however, transitions directly into his own counter throw, opening up to the left again and trying to kick out Toby's leg from a different angle. Again, however, Toby's belt grip keeps him in place, and when the tangle of their legs trips up Kiri, Toby bum rushes him to prevent a recovery and sends him into Onosho's lap. Here we see Kiri's obviously been practicing what to do in stand-up hand-fighting situations, because this time he doesn't get baited into Toby's preferred chaos. He reaches out, but only to control Toby's arms and prevent his hands from getting to the belt. They hold this 50-50 position for a while, looking for cracks in each other's balance or leverage, till Kiri's able to tilt Toby and get a foot off the ground. Toby gets backed up a little but recovers, and when Kiri slaps down his hands, he responds by diving in for the precious belt. But rather than face Toby directly and risk a grab by either hand, he dips left so he only has to control the right arm, using distance to keep Toby's left hand at bay while he lands an underhand grip with the right. We can see the strength of his position by the way he's able to spin Toby around. He wasn't able to budge Toby in the last two fights when Toby was on the belt. The position is so strong, in fact, that with some help from his step-in, he's able to just lift Tobizaru off the ground, twirl him around, and walk him out of the ring. Kiri gets caught up in the hand fight again, attacking more than defending against Toby's arms, and Toby locks in the belt grip. Kiri doesn't like the position, clamping the belt-grabbing arm in with a weak underhook on the right, so he tries jamming his left arm inside, pulling in and up on Toby's left arm to create more space. When Toby hangs on, Kiri doesn't try to force anything. He snaps the left arm back out and resumes the same position. This movement is Kiri pulling Toby around, not Toby pushing Kiri. Kiri's trying to find a way to dislodge Toby, but he's getting nowhere. Even their position stays the same as they move. Kiri reaches over top to get the back of Toby's belt and tries heaving him into a throw, but yet again, with the belt grip, Toby completely negates the attempt. Not only that, but as Kiri steps back with his right foot, Toby takes advantage by using his right leg's position in front of Kiri's left to launch his own throw. Like Toby, Kiri defends with his belt grip over the top, but now he's on the rope, and Toby is very good at sumo hopping opponents out from this position. Kiri avoids the hand fight this time, and it seems to partially work. Toby locks in the belt grip yet again, but rather than being head to shoulder with each other, Kiri has his own advantage with a strong grip over top and his weight bearing on Toby's upper back. His right arm looping across Toby's left shoulder and wrapping under the armpit keeps the monkey locked down. He makes some aggressive moves, but they don't have to actively advance the position. This is already a bad situation for Toby, and if Kiri can make him focus on defending himself more than trying to get loose, that's a net positive. He just has to not give up this position until he's ready to do so. The end is pretty anticlimactic. Kiri leans even harder on Toby, sets his feet, and hops away with a pull that Toby has no real chance to resist. So now we've seen 3 wins for Toby, all which started with a massive hand fight and a good position with a solid grip, and 2 for Kiri, 1 which kept Toby off the belt, and 1 which allowed the grip but baited him into a hopeless position. Henka! I don't know how some y'all hate Henkas, at least gorgeous ones like this. What a move! How can you not love this move? This past March was Kiri's first basho as a sekiwake. The rank itself isn't what matters, but rather the fact that a lot of people felt he was capable of this and had finally started living up to that potential. And watch how this fight starts. Kiri starts inside, then gets a push. It's a strong push, but so far so normal. But then he instantly blocks Toby's right arm at the shoulder, grabs him by the left triceps, and with a little bit of extra pressure on the back of his right shoulder, fully spins him around into an okuridashi, okuranagi, whatever he's going for, he's hitting it from the back. It's to Toby's credit that he's able to twirl so fast and achieve balance for even a moment, enough to keep the follow-up pushdown from making him eat sand. It helps that Kiri's balance had him fading away, but still, it's a hell of a recovery. Toby dives back in because he needs the wild chaos fight, but Kiri just sticks him right on the cheeks. He gets in a little further on the second attempt, but Kiri parries him away. Kiri pushes him back on the third attempt, slaps down Toby's hands on the fourth, and when that gets Toby staggered forward, he's got a mind to push or pull him down. But Toby's hand is sneaking towards the belt, and Kiri can't have that, so he dips his hips back instead to defend. The fact Tobizaru is still upright is incredible, but Kiri hasn't lost focus on the goal. Keep the belt safe. He goes back to controlled hand fighting, then lands another strong parry to get Toby leaning down for a moment. He keeps up the hand defense pushes until Toby is back at the rope, but Toby twists his shoulders to slip a possible final push and basically falls inside of Kiri's reach. This is where Toby has wanted to be all fight. We can't see it from here, but he's finally locked his right hand on Kiri's belt. By keeping Toby's left arm high, Kiri prevents it from being much use, but he still has to figure out how to either break the grip or beat Toby despite being in this balanced position. At this point, the question of fatigue is front and center. These guys are in relatively good shape, but they have to be drained, so part of what happens next is a matter of what they're still capable of. Toby steps forward to try and force something, and when Kiri tries leaning him towards the rope, Toby's like, "You think I'm in your throw, but you're actually in my throw." But they land back in a stable position, jostle for leverage. Kiri grabs the belt over top of Toby's hold, which is good for him but doesn't change much. When Toby tries jamming his hand inside though, he has to straighten up to do it, and when he can't get the hand in there, this gives Kiri exactly the balance shift he needs to drive Toby back. Even then, Toby still gets himself turned to the side and they attempt simultaneous throws. But Kiri has his arm over Toby's arm and his leg under Toby's leg, and that's just enough of an advantage to make Toby hit the ground first. That was a wild fight with a lot to discuss, but here are the main takeaways. This is a different Kiri than the one we saw fight Toby in those previous matches, and if Toby gets on the belt, he can still be a problem even for Kiri 2.0. Kiri again starts with good defense, but instead of throwing Toby around, he just locks in the belt grab and forces Toby to defend against what he might do from here. Toby's able to create some space, and when Kiri defends against his right hand, he slides in the left hand grip. Kiri steps in and attempts to pull Toby back into a sotogake, while Toby uses this position that Kiri's opted into to attempt his own trip throw. He snaps his leg back, kicking out Kiri's leg and breaking the sotogake attempt, but Kiri's too big and strong and is able to keep Toby from regaining his footing before he's sent down. One thing that's clearly changed in Kiri over the last year or so is the improvement in his sheer physicality, his ability to power through, into, or out of positions that he might have struggled with previously. This is an example of that. So if Kiri is able to blast through Toby's tactics now, does that mean Tobizaru is doomed in their matchups to come? I don't think so. Kiri definitely has more room for error now, which means Toby has less. Toby's biggest problem is how hyper-aware Kiri is of his right-hand belt grip and what he's able to do with it. While they split their fights in this video, Kiri showed several ways he can pick up the win, whereas Toby needed that grip in order to make the rest of his tactics work. If he lands it again, he's got a real shot, especially if Kiri's back is merely okay and he's sapped to some power. But if Kiri defends the right hand the way he did in the back half of this breakdown, Toby's going to have to reach pretty deep in his bag of tricks for a win. Alright, that's it for this breakdown. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.